Imagine a king so powerful and determined that he set the standard for what it meant to be a ruler in ancient Mesopotamia. This king wasn't just a warrior or a builder. He was also a poet, musician, philosopher, and lawmaker. This king was Shulgi of Ur. His reign, beginning around 2094 BCE and extending to 2047 BCE, is marked by unparalleled achievements that transformed the city of Ur and secured his place in history as one of the greatest monarchs of Sumer. Shulgi, the second king of the third dynasty of Ur, inherited a kingdom on the rise. His father, Ur-Nammu, had already laid the foundation for greatness by establishing the third dynasty and implementing the earliest known law code. But Shulgi wasn't content to simply maintain his father's legacy. He had a vision of a greater, more prosperous empire, and he pursued this vision with relentless vigor. At the heart of Shulgi's rule was his dedication to construction and building. He is best known for his extensive construction projects that spanned his entire reign. One of his most significant contributions was the expansion of the ziggurat in Ur, a monumental temple that still stands today as a testament to his ambition. Shulgi transformed this sacred structure, turning it into a towering, multi-tiered marvel, believed to connect the earth with the heavens. This wasn't just a religious act, it was a statement of power, a demonstration of his divine right to rule, and a clear signal to both his subjects and his enemies that Ur was a force to be reckoned with. But Shulgi's building projects were not limited to the ziggurat alone. He understood the importance of infrastructure in maintaining control over his vast empire. Under his direction, roads were paved, and new cities were constructed. These roads facilitated trade, improved communication across the empire, and allowed for rapid deployment of military forces when needed. The cities he built served as administrative centers, bolstering the central authority of Ur and ensuring a smoother governance of his diverse and sprawling territories. Shulgi's building projects went beyond mere practical considerations. They were carefully calculated to assert his power and divine favor. He was known to have constructed numerous temples dedicated to the gods across his realm. These temples not only served religious purposes but also acted as centers of economic activity, as they were often sites of trade, storage of surplus goods, and places where decrees were issued. Each new temple reinforced the idea that Shulgi was favored by the gods, a ruler under divine mandate. In doing so, he strategically interwove religion with statecraft, ensuring that his reign was both spiritually and politically secure. Yet Shulgi's passion for construction extended into less visible but equally significant domains. For example, he is credited with building an extensive network of fortresses along his borders. These fortifications served to protect against external threats, particularly from the Elamites and other nomadic tribes, and to project his power into distant regions. By creating a defensive infrastructure, Shulgi demonstrated a forward-thinking approach to governance, one that balanced growth with security and consolidation with expansion. Shulgi was not only a builder of cities, but also a builder of culture. His reign saw a cultural renaissance that emphasized literature, music, and the arts. Shulgi himself was a poet and claimed to have mastered many musical instruments. He composed hymns that glorified the gods, celebrated his own achievements, and reinforced his divine mandate to rule. By promoting arts and literature, Shulgi ensured that his reign would be remembered not just for its military conquests or political might, but for its contributions to human culture and civilization. His commitment to cultural development is evident in his support for education and scholarly activities. Shulgi established and funded scribal schools, known as edubas, where the sons of the elite were trained in writing, mathematics, and law. These schools played a crucial role in the preservation and proliferation of Sumerian culture. They ensured a steady supply of educated bureaucrats who could help manage the empire's complex administrative needs. Under Shulgi's patronage, these schools became centers of learning that attracted scholars from across Mesopotamia. In addition to supporting education, Shulgi also instituted the first known library catalog in history. He ordered that all significant literary works, including religious texts, hymns, and administrative documents, be copied and stored in the temples and royal archives. This preservation of knowledge ensured that Sumerian culture and learning would not be lost to time, and it allowed future generations to build upon the intellectual foundation he had laid. Shulgi's cultural accomplishments went hand in hand with his administrative genius. He was one of the earliest rulers to implement a centralized system of government. He He created a complex bureaucratic system with various administrative positions, each with specific duties, which helped in the smooth functioning of the empire. Records were meticulously kept, and a system of taxation was established to support the empire's grandiose projects. This system was so effective that it became a model for future administrations. Beyond administration, Shulgi was a warrior king. He led numerous military campaigns to expand his territory and strengthen the borders of his empire. His campaigns were fierce, his strategies shrewd, and his determination unyielding. His victories not only secured his empire's borders, but also brought in wealth, resources, and new ideas that further fueled the cultural and economic prosperity of Ur. These military triumphs were recorded in detail in inscriptions, where he boasted of his strength, endurance, and even his ability to run long distances without fatigue, an early example of royal propaganda that aimed to elevate his status among his people. However, Shulgi's ambitions weren't purely focused on military might or political power. They extended into realms of spirituality and law. Following in the footsteps of his father, he expanded upon Ur-Nammu's legal code, refining laws to ensure justice and fairness in his empire. This reinforced his image as a wise and just ruler who cared for the welfare of his people. The law codes under Shulgi's reign were significant because they laid down the foundation for subsequent legal systems in Mesopotamia. They offered protection to the weak, established penalties for crimes, and clarified the responsibilities of various classes within society. While Shulgi's reign was undoubtedly prosperous, it was also complex. To ensure loyalty across his empire, he took on the divine title of God of Sumer and Akkad. This act was unprecedented. No king before him had declared himself a living deity. By doing so, Shulgi effectively merged the divine with the mortal, positioning himself as a god king whose authority could not be questioned. This divine status was both a tool for political control and a reflection of the religious beliefs of the time. It strengthened his hold on power, created a unified religious and political ideology, and consolidated the empire under his rule. But Shulgi's reign was not without controversy. His claim to divinity raised eyebrows among the priestly class and some sections of society. To his detractors, this was seen as blasphemous, a dangerous step that blurred the lines between human and divine. However, for Shulgi, it was a calculated move to secure absolute power and maintain unity in his diverse empire. His reign saw economic growth that was unparalleled for its time. He fostered trade relations with distant lands, from the Indus Valley to the Arabian Peninsula, bringing in goods that enriched the empire. Under his leadership, Ur became a bustling hub of commerce, where traders from all over the known world gathered. This trade brought in precious stones, metals, timber, and exotic goods, but it also facilitated the exchange of ideas and technologies, further enriching the culture of Sumer. However, as with all great rulers, Shulgi's time came to an end. His death in 2047 BCE marked the close of an era that saw both the height of Ur's power and its gradual decline. Yet, his legacy endured. The structures he built, the roads he paved, the legal codes he refined, and the cultural achievements he inspired continued to influence Mesopotamia long after his death. Shulgi of Ur was a king who dreamt big and whose ambitions were matched only by his accomplishments. As we reflect on his reign, we see a leader who was much more than a ruler. He was a visionary, a strategist, a builder, and a patron of culture. Shulgi's reign represents a golden era in the history of ancient Mesopotamia, one that laid the foundations for future civilizations. And that wraps up our journey into the life of Shulgi of Ur, one of history's most remarkable monarchs. If you enjoyed this exploration into the past and want to learn more about the fascinating figures who shaped our world, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Historical Highway for more captivating stories from history. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.